Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for being here. So I'm late, but I am in the process of moving, so life is hectic. So videos might be a little late, but they will still be here. And thanks to everyone new who subscribed, and I'm glad everyone's enjoying it. So this is episode 10. You gotta go there to come back. And I just got done with the podcast. Another fun, fabulous podcast. And this one was with Antoine. The the awesome actor who played Antoine, and he is always so funny. I totally second that. I definitely want him and Deb to come back on the podcast. I think that would be so cute. I love that Deb kind of made him blush in their scenes together. I think that's adorable. So let's get into this episode. It's Lucas makes his choice. And he's immediately wondering if he made the right choice. Oh my god. Naylee waking up in her bed together. So cute. And then he's all like, oh, it's not about sex for me. And that romantic looking kiss, they explained, is so technical it's anything but romantic. I do love, like the lady said on the podcast, how direct Deb is with Dan. She's not yelling, she's just being very straightforward, and it really is a healthy way to handle his narcissistic, just, is it gaslighting that what he's doing? Or the love bombing, as they called it on the podcast. So I really always admired her strength in this role. I do have to say it is interesting because this is like the one and only time that we see Haley defend Peyton, because they were never really close. So it is such a trip to see Haley defending her. And then, Lucas is all like, I'm not the bad guy. And he's like defending Brooke to, Haley. So it's kind of like, ooh, it's such a reversal. Like, I don't know. Although I do want to say that when Lucas is all like, I'm not the bad guy, I do kind of want to just be like, yeah, you kind of are. Oh my god, though, when Brooke finds Peyton and she's like, oh, we didn't really get a chance to talk, and then Peyton just blows, just glosses over it like, oh, I was just returning a CD. It's like, oh, painful. I always love that Whitey canceled the basketball, to really think about what matters. And it's funny because the look on Nathan's face almost implies that he's not as upset about that as he thought he might be. When Lucas runs up to Peyton's car and he's like, oh, can we talk? I feel really bad. It's like, you know what? You didn't look like you felt really bad when you were telling your best friend how, oh, she has too many issues. Ugh. I just have to say, when Deb tells Haley, I'm glad that Nathan has someone like you, and she's all genuinely happy, it's such a 180 from where she goes in her feelings with Haley later. Just gonna say, I agree with Sophia Bush saying about the Polaroids. Polaroids for the win. I had one when I was growing up, and I really think film needs to be brought back because those are tangible things. Our electronic pictures are great too, but the tangible photos, there's nothing quite like it. Okay, so here is Peyton's prime opportunity to say how she, her feelings about Lucas to Brooke. Brooke's like saying, I would never, date him if you didn't, basically want me to. But then, honestly, I feel like it was almost low-key manipulation on Brooke's part, because she was like, no matter how happy he makes me, like, oh, it's just one of those moments. It's like, you were kind of low-key manipulating, but yet that was kind of your chance to say something. So, the mess that it becomes later. But then you see how cute Brooke's being with Peyton, and she's just like hose over bros, and it's like, it's an endearing moment. It's like low-key manipulation feeling her chance to say something, but then she's being so nice, and it's like, the confusion is real. I will never not love a Whitey moment, and especially the Whitey Dan confrontations. They are so well written and executed. Bravo to both men involved. I always think Whitey, it just comes out on top no matter what, and Dan just looks like so frustrated. Then we see Dan being like, okay, Nathan, you're coming with me this weekend. I don't care what you had planned. And it's almost, you see this recurring thing where I feel like every time he gets frustrated, like Dan gets frustrated with Whitey, he really takes that out on Nathan. Oh my God, the whole scene with Deb and talking to Lucas in the store and Brooke comes up with the condoms. That was a hilarious yet kind of cringeworthy scene originally, but after hearing it on the podcast that Sophia Bush was just so mortified doing that scene, it just adds so much more to that scene. It's like, oh my God, like just it's so hilarious, but it's just it's just great. And Deb is just like, okay, bye. Brooke does make a good point. Who is she to judge considering who her son is? Okay, oh my God, I just noticed something. I do like Nathan's whole, like, yeah, I almost did die, Dad. And then, like, Haley calls him, right? Do you notice how she's like, oh, we're doing my open mic night at the cafe. And Nathan goes, oh, so I'm gone 2 minutes and you're already, like, going Hollywood on me? And she's like, yeah, that's me, all glitz and glamour. It's like, oh my God, so much foreshadowing, man. Okay, it's a really interesting dynamic between Keith and Deb, because we see Keith and Karen and he's so in love with her, and then like there's some little flirtations between Deb and Keith for sure, but they're more like neutral for sure. But then it's just like, I just love Keith's commentary because it's so subtle. He's like, I could lock him in the basement. I was thinking you talk to him, or that. Like, I just think it's funny that Deb's like, yeah, I saw him buying condoms. You should probably talk to him. Oh my God, when Haley goes to ask for Peyton's artistic ability on the help for the flyers for the open mic night, I love it when she's leaving and she's like, I take back everything I ever said about you before we met. I think Haley's like the one person next to Brooke that could get away with saying something like that. Maybe that's because that's maybe a reason why they become friends later. Oh my God. Nathan, when he gets around his dad, he's just like, ugh. Because then he basically hangs up on Haley. Dan's all like, she's got you on a short leash. And then when he hangs up on her, he's like, good work. Oh, you're such an ass. Oh my God, when Keith like buzzes in on Lucas and Brooke, and Keith is just so like, Brooke, say goodnight, Lucas. It's like, Keith has got that like cool kind of like demeanor just down, man. I do feel for Keith because, like, I think he does do the right thing. I think he uses his best judgment, but, like, I think Lucas kind of puts him in not the greatest positions or situations with Lucas and Karen. Oh my God, though, when Lucas is like, yeah, well, you're not my mom and you're not even a boyfriend. It's like, wow, talk about below the belt, Lucas. Jeez. I think you really see Lucas in this section of this, especially this episode, or this, he's finding himself. He's trying to I think he's trying to emulate the popular kids. He wants a little piece of that. And you can kind of see him warring with himself over that. Am I the only one that literally rolls my eyes every time Dan speaks to Nathan? Because it's like everything he says is just so eye roll worthy. Oh my God, when Brooke calls Peyton and she's like, I can see you on your cry for help webcam. And Haley's like, webcam? Hi there, tutor girl. So every time I watch that scene when Luke goes to Jake's house and he gets kind of offended that he feels like Jake doesn't want to hang out with him, I always kind of felt like that was low-key manipulation for him to almost tell me, what's going on, dude? But I don't think it was, but I always felt that way. But then Jake's tells Luke what's going on, and he just presents his daughter so sweetly, and it always did strike me as really cool that they presented this really mature, hot, singer, basketball guy that, he's doing right by his child and his responsibility. And it's such a nice message because you never really see that with the guy thing. Well, we did see it in This Is Us, so that's not true. We can't say never. But I do love how that was just such a unique idea back in the early 2000s, and they did it really well. I do love that Lucas was able to kind of give Jake perspective on, because Jake wasn't ashamed, but him hiding it definitely would give his daughter a complex just like Luke had. So I really like that they put that in there. I do like Haley's like when Peyton's like, oh, what kind of karmic monster was I in another life? And Haley's like, probably one of those sirens that lure sailors in and kill them on the rocks. I could see it. I love when Nathan calls out his dad on all his BS on the court in front of all those people. But everything Nathan said was so true. He's like, nobody, mom's never going to be happy with you. Nobody is. And man, that is foreshadowing. I just have to say, this Whitey and Keith interaction on this episode is probably one of my favorites because they're just so great together. It's so adorable and funny and heartfelt. Like, am I the only one that likes the Whitey moments? Like, I can't be. That's no way. And of course, Gavin DeGraw has to star in the show that has one of his songs as the theme song. Peyton was adorable, though, all fangirling out. Keith and Lucas are always just like, they always have really good talks. I love that they can always find their way back to each other and just be like chill about it. I like the flyer to Jake. They've got booster chairs. And I did appreciate that Lucas went and, talked to Deb because, she is helping his mom. Man, the sacrifice that Peyton made to let Brooke be happy with Lucas. Oh, the pain on her face. Oh man, does anybody get all the feels when Jake says, hey, Jenny, this is everybody, and everybody, this is my whole world. Oh my God. And then more feels when Haley's like trying to call Nathan and he just shows up and he's like, the jerk never called you back, did he? I mean, come on, that is freaking adorable. Like, oh, and he plays he just plays it so well. And they're so cute. Nearly forever. Though, when I see that moment, and then, Haley really did save Nathan, which I believe he says that near the end of the series. And then you see Dan sitting in his car, and of course Jake's talking about such a lonely boy, singing that song. And you see, Dan just looking at the cafe that his family's in, and he's not there. Foreshadowing. Okay, so you kind of see Peyton when she walks up to Jake, and I just kind of feel like in that moment, like she's just very much kind of like, oh, okay, you're a new direction that I can focus on. Not saying that was the main reason, but because Jake and Peyton definitely had something. I don't think it was a forever type of thing. There's a lot of people that disagree with me on this, but I think that they would have been better together like later. But I definitely feel like a lot of it was Peyton kind of just trying to find a new direction. I always felt like Peyton was very much floating like a buoy in the ocean, like just kind of waiting for some, something. Oh my God, when Lucas invites Nathan to go to the river court because it's fun, and then Haley just like bumps him and he's like, oh my God, so cute. Oh my God, with the girls at the court and taking the picture with the Polaroid and Keith and Coach watching them, all the guys play. It's just such fuzzy, warm feelings. And then we go from warm and fuzzy to the Dan and Deb confrontation where she's like, you need to go to therapy. This is not a negotiation. I will stop you from seeing your son if you don't. And it's just so funny because he goes from like these moments of like, oh, I'm being charming and I'm being witty and I'm being cute. And then he just flips on a dime and he's so vindictive and he's so just mean-spirited. And it's like, that's who you really are. And it's just like, he plays that role so well. They both do. I mean, so it's like, it's not the warm, fuzzy feeling ending, but it's a climactic ending. So that's it from you guys. I'll be here next week with the next episode. Thanks for being here. If you've liked, feel free to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.